I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. Turtle. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. Dum beat. 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 Turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. Turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles. I like turtles.
All right. What's up, Turtle Riders? How we all doing out there tonight? Good? Everybody good? I've gone ahead and I've shared this link, guys, to the Clarence Woods Emerson Facebook page, as well as the Turtleboy Sports Facebook page. If you haven't liked those pages, get on over there and like them. I am going to go right now, and I'm sharing this link also on the Twitter. Can't do it on my phone, but I can do it over here on the Twitter machine. And if you're on Twitter, follow me. I'm at Real Uncle TB. That's at Real Uncle TB. Look it up. All right, so there's that. Okie dokie. So, anything else I'm missing here? Restart the show. Oh yeah, the fundraiser. If you guys feel like, as usual, this episode is brought to you by you. So if you guys would like to donate to the program, we're doing a live here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the link into it right now. I'll periodically refresh it, read off the donos, and if you write a funny message there, you're more than welcome to. So we're also going to take calls tonight too, because we're going to have an interesting conversation here. So I'm going to go ahead and there's a link right now. Not yet. I'll let you know when it's time to call in, but there's the link right there. All right. So it's going to be a little bit different tonight. I'm not going to be running the show tonight. I'm going to be getting an interview tonight. So the guy I'm having on, his name is Jamarhl Crawford. He's from Boston. He's an activist in town, but he's got his own little brand. He can't be typecasted as Black Lives Matter or whatever. All I know about him, the thing that sticks out most in my mind is he's the only guy that Monica Cannon Grant hates more than me. That's the best way I could describe him. And I'm sure we're going to get into that tonight. So with us, I'm going to bring on Jamarhl right now. What's happening, Jamarhl?
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, indeed. All those people out there in Turtle Lands.
Yeah. So
all of a sudden, we just had an audio issue.
How about now? Is that better?
Perfect.
All right. So I'm going to let you kind of take the floor. It's going to be your show to interview me tonight. And you want to introduce yourself however you want to do this?
Yeah, just for the benefit of the doubt, anybody in your audience too, even though this is an interview, anybody who has a clarifying question or whatnot, I am also open for, any kind of comments, questions, whatnot folks have. But basically, yeah, for me, Jamarhl Crawford, community activist, been in Boston, born and raised in Boston. I only left here for like 7 years when I lived in Atlanta. So about as local gets. Once again, community activists, mostly focused over the years on issues of, policing and, police reform and criminal justice and that type of stuff, so on and so forth. Okay, so basically, speaking for, my community, the quote unquote Black community and so on and so forth, you're pretty notorious, particularly at this point in the last, let's say several years, because I think before that, nobody really knew who you are. And then, the brand has now, spread far and wide. But there are reviews out there that you're really a bad guy, right? You are, a super duper racist. you are, a white supremacist yourself, part of a white supremacy organization, that there's some sort of organized group of white supremacists who, Turtleboy is somehow some sort of high-ranking official in a general calling orders or something like that. So I guess we could start with that. And we did this a little bit yesterday when I was trying to talk to my my Facebook audience just to kind of tease this out. So talk to me a little bit about your own background, your affiliations, and as coming up, okay? As a young man, I was a Boy Scout, and then, da and then later on in life, I joined the New Black Panther Party. I was in the New Black Panther Party from 2002 to 2010, right? So in your life, have you ever been a member of any white organization, whether it is any kind of white supremacy affiliated, KKK, Aryan Nation, Aryan Brotherhood, neo-Nazi skinhead, regular Nazi, or even any kind of offshoot movement, a super right conservative, even something like the Proud Boys or any of those type of groups? Have you ever had a membership in any of those type of groups?
Well, I watched Friends as a kid. I don't know if that counts, but to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever been associated with any right-wing hate groups. My big thing is, I never really focus on. I'm not exactly like proud, or ashamed either one to be the color of my skin. It just is what it is. I'm indifferent to who I am.
Okay. Now, what about your views though on others? Are you indifferent to what others are? Meaning, a lot of people would say that your site unfairly targets Black people, Latino people, any type of minorities, and this is where mainly the charge of you being this racist comes in. They're basing it off of your material, and most often when these people are interacting with your material, it seems as though people feel as though that you have a particular slant to go after Black people, Latino people, other minorities. And as we talked about before, but for the benefit of the group, what percentage of your coverage do you think that people would label as attacks are attacks on Black people and other people of color?
Well, I think people would label all the blogs as an attack on somebody. So I actually did an audit of this. I think in 2016, I could bring up the article. And I did. I think I went over like 200 or 250 of the most recent blogs. And I want to say it was like 71% of the blogs were about white people. And so if anything, I'm probably more racist towards white people in particular. Black people were underrepresented when it came to their, total percentage of the population on blogs. Latinos were higher represented than Black people were on the blog. Asian people were slightly more represented than Black people were on the blog. So I feel like when people call Turtleboy racist, it's because I'm writing about, a Black person, right? And they're focusing on that, but they're not reading all the other blogs. They're not reading about the Fall River Gutter Muppet. They're not reading about the Natick dumpster slug. They're not reading about the white chick from Pittsfield who's selling her EBT. They're not reading those stories. They're focusing on the one story. And it's almost as if I'm not allowed to write about any Black people or else it's just racist. But if they do Turtleboy things, they go on Turtleboy, period.
Okay. And listen, I got Facebook Live going too. All those on my Facebook Live, you really should be watching this via the YouTube thing, because I don't even know if you're getting to hear Turtleboy's answers as clearly. So for those who are
just share the link.
Yeah. Okay, so hold up. Can you put the link in our Facebook chat so that I could just put it in?
I'll put it in right now. I'll send it to you right now.
All right. So so the link. And now somebody here is asking me as well, does Turtleboy have sources within civil organizations, whether City Hall, Boston Police, Fire, EMS, Boston Public Schools, etc., that feed him information?
Oh yeah, I mean I have sources everywhere. I mean that's how I get these stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that would make sense. Now, let's. Okay, I got another question. And does he know what racism is really? Okay, so we're gonna hold that for just a second, because before we get to that, I want to touch back on what you just said about the names that you use. You know, I've read through. I don't even know how you come up with these things. You know, some of these names. Oh, you have a book.
I have like a book. It's like 2 sides to it. You can just flip it over, pick one word, and flip it over, pick the other word.
Oh,
yeah, it works pretty well.
Okay. So, so when you use these words, pretty indiscriminately, right? Are you ever cognizant of, you know, what that may look like, or that you know you're very aware that these are charged terms often, and that they may be seen as, well, certainly, you know, disparaging, but to some degree, these are some of the charges of where somebody may think, you know, it's racism in there.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that people have to understand, I just put no thought into it whatsoever, and I never will, ever. And that's not because I'm racist. It's just because I don't care. I just don't care about your feelings. Like, if you're offended by something that I write about, there's just nothing in the world that I could possibly give a shit less about than your feelings. They're literally meaningless to me. And so if I were to go, like, it would be against everything I believe in if I were to start scrutinizing words and I'm like, could this word I'm using be perceived as racist towards this group? Would somebody be offended by it? I almost, like, it's not like I enjoy it, but I kind of do enjoy it. Like, it's like, there's nothing I care less about and there's nothing I will never, ever, ever cater the words that I use towards the feelings of people that are, quite frankly, in my opinion, looking for something to be offended by.
Okay. All right. Hold on, we got more. Okay, so yeah, so now let's get into the racism thing. We talked about this a little bit yesterday as well, but what is your definition and your understanding of racism?
All right, so racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group.
Okay, so once again, like you said, I think you said the Webster definition is pretty much what you go for.
Correct.
All right. Okay, hold on. I'm just putting this link up here now too, so more people can get in, because people are watching it through my Facebook.
And I know that, like, somehow along the years, it's become, I swear to God, some gender study professor at Emerson or something just decided one day that they're just going to redefine what the word racism is. But the thing about words is they don't get redefined. Words have meanings, and you can call like racism with the I know where this is going. I've heard this before, this argument that, you know, only certain people who are in positions of power and members of racial groups that are systemically in power, they're the only ones that are capable of being racist. I've heard this one before, but that's a made up definition, like I said, that some gender study professor at Emerson came up with. Doesn't mean it's true.
Okay. I mean, not for nothing too, people should know that I don't do any convincing. You know, I ask you what your feelings are on racism, because that's the definition that you're rocking with, although that's not the definition that me or most people are operating with, but that's, you know, that's you. Oh, my friend said, what am I puffing? It's a cigar, damn it, Earl. All right. People want to know too, let's see here. If there are any Black authors that you have read, that's
a good question.
If you can cite any literary reference that you've ever read on racism, white supremacy, or white aggression, and if you've ever done any studying or research on white supremacy.
I love it. I love that question, man. So a little bit about my background.
And what is your definition of white supremacy?
All right, so let me get to the white supremacy definition afterwards. But so my background is I was a history teacher for 11 years, right? Taught 11th grade history in Shepherd Hill, which is like it's a towny school in Dudley. And I taught in Worcester for 2 years before that. I'm from Worcester. So I've, lived in the city and worked in the burbs. I've kind of seen it all, right? And I loved the United States history. My favorite part of the United States history was the Civil Rights Movement, right? And I spent a significant amount of time on it because my understanding of civil rights coming out of, elementary school and, really high school and college was, Martin Luther King had a dream. Civil Rights Act was passed, racism's fixed, right? Like that's the general, whatever, the Reader's Digest version of it. But obviously there's a lot more to that. And I was fascinated with it. I've read John Lewis's biography. I've read gigantic books about the Freedom Rides. Like I'm fascinated with that topic. I showed kids in class a DVD, this is back when DVDs were a thing, about Little Rock Central High School 50 years after the integration in 1957, and how the school is still, even though it's integrated now, it's really voluntarily segregated. It's actually one of the best schools in the country too, but like 60% of the school is black, 40% of the school is white. The white kids are all in the AP classes, etc. And it was interesting to show that, like, even though segregation's over, right? Even though Jim Crow's over, the long lasting effects of this are not corrected overnight, right? It doesn't mean that the white kids in Little Rock Central High School are racist. It just means that it takes time, for this to develop. And so I've read a lot, I've read when you're teaching United States history too, you're doing the Harlem Renaissance. So we read Zora Neale Hurston, you read Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, stuff like that. And I don't read it every night before bed, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay. So in that, I guess now let's get to a lot of the people, let's say from my community, that you have attacked over the years. And, I guess really you could tell the people, and I got to run out the room for 1 second. But you tell people how you first came across Monica Cannon Grant.
All right. So first time I ever saw Monica Cannon Grant was in 2017. I want to say, and we talked about this yesterday, I want to say the first time I saw Monica Cannon Grant was when there was an incident in a Bridgewater elementary school. I don't know if you guys remember this. Some poor little black girl volunteered during a Plymouth Plantation presentation to be the 1-year-old child with tethering sticks, right? That's how kids learn how to walk back in the day. It's just a factual, no doubt about it happened. They put little strings on the kid and they walked, okay? And every time they go to a school, they do a presentation about this, and they ask for a volunteer in the class to be the baby and 2 other kids to be the adults. Well, Bridgewater Elementary School doesn't happen to have many black kids. So the one girl in the class who's black raises her hand and says, I want to be the baby. She gets picked to be the baby, and this involves 2 other white kids tethering her. And when you see the picture that gets put out there, when you first see it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look good. That's not right. Because it looks like she's being like she's on a leash or something, right? And there's no context to it. There's no explanation. It's just out there. So, of course, Talcum X, Sean King gets a hold of it, throws it out there. But before he even put it out there, I'm like, how did Sean King find about some fucking school in goddamn Bridgewater? Well, it turns out there's this woman named Monica Cannon Grant, who I've never heard before, who, as it turns out, led this gigantic protest over the summer against imaginary Nazis who never showed up in Boston. And, she was like sending a mob to the school. And I had a huge problem with that as a former teacher, because I'm sure whoever this kid's teacher is, they probably worked their ass off, right? They're probably some nice person, 3rd grade teacher going through the limits. And what were they supposed to do? Were they supposed to tell the little black girl, I'm sorry, little girl, you can't be the baby. Only the white kids can be the baby. Now, and she'll say, why? Why can't I be the baby? And you see, there's this heffalump out there named Monica Cannon Grant, and she's going to look at it in bad faith, misinterpret it, and tweet it out to Sean King, who's a whole other story. How much time you got? And then it'll be out there, and we can't do that, honey. So everybody can be the baby except for the black girl. That's what Monica Cannon Grant wanted. She sent in a freaking mob after some 3rd grade teacher. It was ridiculous.
Okay. So I'm trying to see where to go. Okay, because it's come up. Well, first of all, people want to say too, remind us to tell your version of your definition of white supremacy.
I don't know. To me, white supremacy was always just like white people took over and made black people in like their slave. I don't know. To me, a white supremacist society is one in which white people are given certain rights that black people are not given, and that black people are made to be, lesser than as a direct result of a system that, white people don't have to follow the same rules and they get to do certain things. Basically, Alabama in 1955, that was white supremacy.
Okay. All right. But so like in today's modern context, you do understand that racism exists, right?
Oh, of course.
Right. Okay. All right. And people got a lot of history teacher jokes here.
I don't think are they in the YouTube, or are they still on your Facebook page?
I sent the YouTube link a bunch, and not for nothing. Everybody over there, he's open to all questions. You can send these questions there too.
We got like 250 people on the YouTube right now.
Yeah, like 250 people in there. He's ready to take callers. All that, because a lot of you, I guess we might as well get into there, because for the past, I don't know, month or so, my phone rings off the hook. They think I'm your secretary or something. Hey, tell Turtleboy this. Hey, tell Turtleboy that. Hey, tell Turtleboy to leave my cousin alone. Hey, this, that, the other. So there's some sort of
why do they think that?
I don't know.
I know, because you put out the Monica Cannon Grant video.
Okay.
And then I used it.
Right, there you go. Okay, yep. So that's one. But even they were making these associations before. So let's just talk about how we met, which you'll probably have a better recollection of it than I would. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. See, here goes Joe G. Ramos, because that's your boy. It's exactly what I mean. So let's please tell the people, how we met, how much we know each other, whatever. So why don't you tell folks when we met, and then let's talk about how many times have we, you think, talked on the phone privately, you and me? Have we ever met? Do you know where I live? Do I know where you live? Are we going out drinking whiskey? What are we taking walks on the beach hand in hand at sunset? Give the people the whole Jamarhl Crawford Turtleboy thing.
So I get that, being associated with me would not, go over well with, some people, right? So I want to make it clear that the first time we ever met or spoke was I blogged about you, if I recall. You were in a blog, and I forget I don't know if it was the Christian White blog or it was the Rachel Rollins blog. I forget which one it was, but you came up in it. I think you commented, and then I called you a Black Lives Matter activist or something. And I remember you posted about me, and you wanted to make it clear, whoa. I'm not in Black Lives Matter. And that's when I realized, I'm like, this guy doesn't want to be labeled. He's kind of like a man on his own out there, a man on his island. And you agreed to come on one of my first podcasts that I ever did, and we had an interesting conversation. We disagree about most things, but at least you'll talk to me and I'll talk to you, and that's very rare these days.
Exactly. All right. Oh, now see, people keep going. This seems like a strange partnership due to both of your disdain for Monica. All right, let's just do a little bit. Let me back up for a little bit of my history. When I was in the New Black Panther Party, I had to have conversations with real Ku Klux Klan people, real neo-Nazis, real skinheads. Okay. As an activist over the year, I've been on the Howie Carr Show. I've been on with Tom Finneran. I've been on with Michael Graham. I've been on with Michelle McPhee, all of whom are notoriously conservative in their views and wildly not popular in my community, right? Also, too, when I ran for office, I had to. I ran against Tito for city council. That was what?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That's part of one of the reasons that, the Monica thing. But so in all this, I've had to deal with all sorts of people, and I take all comers. If in my mind, if I have the information and if I have the truth, why should I be worried about talking to anybody? Okay. So clearly to me, I have no issue in talking to someone like you. And also too, when people talk about like your platform as a white racist platform, but yet here we are on YouTube and Facebook, and every day we read the Globe and the Herald, and we watch channel 4, 5, 7, and 25, as if those are not white racist institutions. To me, I don't really differentiate. You are young Howie Carr to me. You know what I mean? You're like, when you said you liked Howie Carr, You know, I used to listen to Howie Carr all the time. You know, what's this guy's name? Virgin Boy, and the guy who used to be the producer on this show and all this type of stuff. So I get it, but like I'm not bothered. The part that does bother me, however, is when people want to create false associations that do not exist. So after going on your show, my recollection of it was, my thing was, he's supposed to be the big bad white guy with the big bad white audience. Let me go do on the show, answer any questions they got, and dispel any myths or rumors. And I think, you know, we did a good job of that. And after that, I was just like, okay, in my mind, okay, he's another media contact that I have. And if I need to send something out, or if you cover something that's useful to me, then, you know, then I'm looking at it. Okay. So here we go. Okay, here we go. This is good. Healthy dialogue is always peace. In my personal opinion, he sounds like he lived in a prison wall of his own ideologies, rhetoric. Okay, yeah. So once again, a lot of this people have to understand. Like, I'm not here to convert you to the Church of Scientology.
But I'm down for. I want to take on the most, like the hardest criticism, the hardest questions. Those are the ones I want to answer, and I want to be clear about it. You know, I want to clear up any misconceptions people have about me.
Okay, she says, but we have to admit that he does provide a platform for racists. Okay, so that's a good thing. Would you admit that many of your followers and the people who choose to comment on your page are in fact racist?
Well, if you look at the comment section, there's certainly a lot of racism in the comment section. No doubt about it. There's also a lot of all the isms are in there, all of them, right? But that's because it's completely anonymous, and there's nothing I can do about that. Like I heard you talk about this yesterday about, like, you know, you think the Boston Globe and places like that should moderate their comment section more, right? I don't believe that, because I just believe in 100% free speech. And believe me, I've tried, right? I think it's a bad look. And like, I've taken, like, you can't write the N-word in my comment section. And, you know, but all they do is they just say N-I space, and then they spell it G-G-I-E-R. Like, there's, no matter how hard you try to censor speech, people are going to find a way around it. So you might as well just let them say it. And it's all anonymous. And I always tell people, anybody who takes the comment section seriously is not a serious person to begin with. I don't read the comment section. I'll read the comment section on Facebook, because at least people there are using their real names for the most part. When you don't have to put your name on it, you'll say anything. We might even see these people in real life, and they might be cordial with you. They might be normal. They might not even be racist. Maybe they just want to be edgy. Maybe they just want to be, ooh, if I say this N-word, if I call somebody a kike like this, like, I'm just, you know, it's like, I'm just being a little shit stir. There's a difference between racism and a shit stir.
Okay. All right, here we go. Look, a lot of y'all with these questions, once again, you got to go to the YouTube. You got to ask them there, or you got to start calling in. That's the process, people. All these people are on my Facebook page.
And your stream on Facebook, and just put the link. Tell them to come here. Force them.
All right. That's true, too. All right. All right, y'all. Look. I'm gonna shut down the live, and it'll be available on YouTube anyway. I'm gonna shut down the live, y'all. Listen, go to the YouTube so that folks can really call in. But before we do that, let me get a couple of these last ones. Folks want to know, while you were a teacher, were there any major racial incidents at your school? And then another thing was, were you in fact fired for a racial incident, or were you fired, or why were you fired, or whatever?
So the second question, I got to send you my book, because it explains the whole thing, but I'll get into it in 1 second. As far as Shepherd Hill goes, there was no racial incidents because there was no black kids. There was like 5 black kids in the whole school. And quite frankly, the black kids that I had in class were all fantastic students. You know, their parents moved to towns that were, you know, not wicked affluent, but affluent enough. And, you know, often they came, their parents, dads were doctors, whatever. And so my belief has always been, right, that the biggest factor in your life is not the race that you're born into, but your socioeconomics, right? So if your dad's a doctor, you're better off than if your dad's a coal miner, period, no matter what color your skin is. So that's my answer for that one. For the second one, so it's a long story, but so I started Turtleboy anonymously, right? I had a blog before this called aidanfromworcester.com. And I wrote about, you know, my real opinions on stuff like that. And I got in trouble for it because I wrote a blog about how Jonathan Martin from the Miami Dolphins said he was bullied by his former teammate Richie Incognito. And I said, that's ridiculous. You can't bully a 300-pound man. Like, stop being a pussy, basically. And I got suspended without pay for 3 days for that. And I was like basically on thin ice. Like, if you fuck up one more time, if you say one more thing on social media that we don't approve of, you're out of here. You have no free speech rights as a teacher. So I'm like, okay, well, I used my real name before. Let me start an anonymous blog. How will they know it's me? Turtleboysports.com. And I was doing it for like 9 months, and it grew fast. And it started really growing. And by like September of 2014, I was getting, I had thousands of followers on Facebook and stuff like that, mostly around Worcester. And people figure out who you are. They're not stupid. They'll figure it out. And I went to a game in Buffalo, Patriots, Bills game. We go there every year. Patriots whoop their ass as usual. And it's a great time in Buffalo. You get wasted. The fans are fucking crazy. They love the Bills. They hate Tom Brady. They call you a faggot, like all this stuff. It's wild. And you give it right back to them because you win. It's awesome. We always win. And so I'm there and they're throwing shit at me. They're throwing batteries at me. And so I'm turning around, giving them this sign. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. And I go home and I do a blog about them. And it spreads like wildfire in Buffalo. And everybody in Buffalo is talking about these Patriots fans that came up here and started shit. And now they're bad mouthing us and blah, blah, blah. I got invited on like sports talk radio shows out there. And next thing you know, a Buffalo blogger doxes me. He figures out who I am. And he puts out this blog. If you're going to say I'm Turtleboy, that's one thing. That's fine. I am Turtleboy. But he also added a bunch of shit. Like he was sexually harassing a girl behind him, humping her. Every time that story gets told, one time she's 20, then she's 19, then she's 18, now she's 14, whatever. Every time that story gets told, she's younger. Of course, none of it's true. And that story spread like wildfire in Massachusetts. Every single kid in my school read it. They think I'm like a fucking deviant. Of course, I'm not. And I get the Dudley police come to my classroom. They bring me to the main office, and like the superintendent's in there, and they're like, "What are we gonna do? Like, we know you didn't do this, but we got the fucking news is outside and shit. This school has already had teacher scandals before. We don't need one more." So I'm like, I went on paid leave, and so they spent the next 2 weeks trying to figure out something they could terminate me for, but they couldn't. So basically, they gave me an option. They go, we want to buy out the rest of your year's contract, the rest of your year's salary, and we will write you letters of recommendation, and all you have to do is promise not to sue us. And I'm like, thinking about, let's do it. Because I wanted to turn Turtleboy into a business, and this was kind of like a nest egg to start that with. So
okay. All right. So, all right, let me clear this up too. So, I'm getting a lot of feedback from my people. They're like, no, don't turn your feed off. Keep them both on. But you guys have to go to YouTube or whatever if you want to chime in. People want to know, how are you supposed to call in? What happens? You go to YouTube.
So what I'm going to do right now is I can put, if they want to call in, I see one person backstage already, a couple people actually. I'm putting the link right there in the YouTube. Okay. All they got to do is click on that and they go backstage, and I can bring them in whenever. I see an Erin and I see a Tanya back there. I don't know if they're with me or with you. Probably with me.
I don't know, but okay. So Depina, so the guy that you called the gap, what do you call him? A gap tooth grundle?
Grundle gremlin.
A grundle gremlin.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. That came out of the book too?
No, that was an original. Sometimes you
go with an original. Huh? You took the time to create something special for him.
Yeah. Wow. You saw the gap tooth and you're like, what begins with G? Grundle, obviously. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So he is on my live here. Zazito wants to talk to you as well. So Zazito, get on the YouTube. Get on the YouTube and get in there. All right.
I messaged that. So he messaged me after the blog the other day, and then he blocked me after that. He blocked the Turtleboy Sports account, so I couldn't get back to him. And then
I think his whole page got taken down. I think one of his whole pages got taken down.
He's still there because I messaged him on Clarence Woods Emerson.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't get back to me either.
Oh, okay.
I'd love to have him on. He seems like a colorful character,
to say the least.
Yes. So he should be hitting you up. So Zazito, get on that YouTube thing, get in there. Let's take a couple of these calls that you have in queue here. And okay. I'm gonna bring Tanya on first.
He should be hitting Tanya.
Tanya, what's up? What do you got?
Let's take a couple of these calls that you have in queue here.
Okay. I'm gonna bring Tanya on first. You got Jamarhl. You got to turn the background off. If you got your speaker on, I can hear myself.
These calls that you have.
Turn your speaker out.
I'm gonna mute him.
I don't know.
No, you got to turn the background off. if you got your speaker on.
Are you on, Tanya?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh no, wait, Tanya, you must have it on.
Aiden,
turn
you
your-
have Erin in the backstage too?
Yeah, Tanya, you have to turn your computer out, your sound off. I can hear feedback. You have to turn the show off.
Erin in the backstage too?
Okay, Tanya, I'm gonna try to bring you in a minute, but because it's really bad. So figure that out and come back on. So once again, if you guys have your computers on and the show is playing on there, it's going to create terrible feedback and impossible to listen. So we're gonna bring Erin on. Erin, how you doing?
Turning down the volume. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Tanya, I was trying to tell Tanya to turn down her volume. She's on with me on another.
Okay. So what do you got?
I was just listening to all the racism talk, and I don't think it's about race. I think that if you commit a crime, you know the consequences. With all these shootings going on, and the police and BLM, I just think that if you commit a crime, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you resist, if you don't, you give up your right to go in front of a judge and go in front of a jury.
Sorry, but I apologize. What does that have to do with the conversation we were having?
I thought we were having a racial conversation.
We were, but now you're getting into something a little bit. We're talking about kind of like Jamarhl. I mean, is that something you want to get into?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I would say that this. I do agree that if you do a crime, you should certainly be punished for it. And one of the worst crimes I know is the theft of a land, the theft of a people, the rape and robbery of a culture and a religion and all that. And I am ready to see white people held accountable for their horrible crimes throughout the decades. Yes.
Whoa, seriously, what do you think should be done about that?
Well, not for nothing. I'm a supporter of reparations, but we could do that a whole nother day, because as most of your audience probably thinks of it, I'm not talking about a check. I'm talking about addressing the infrastructural damage that was done, that is documented and proven via the transatlantic slave trade, the theft of the wealth out of Africa through the natural resources, the gold, the diamonds, the oil, that continues on to this day, that built the wealth, particularly of America, England, Spain, and France.
The same could be said about the Indians, the American Indians. The same could be said about the Irish also.
No, not the Irish, but certainly the American Indians, definitely.
They
Now,
had all their land robbed from them.
Yeah, absolutely. But your story is a little bit different, because with the Irish, there was no chattel slavery. There was no 400 years of it.
Certainly slavery. There was certainly.
I just said chattel slavery. That's why I was very specific. There was no chattel slavery, right? There was no 5,000 lynchings. There was no Jim Crow, or in your case, Jim O'Malley, or anything like that we could even compare to what happened with the black people. So what happened to Irish people at the hands of other white people, the English, was absolutely horrific. But it does not compare.
Yeah, it made us tougher, though, man. It made us tougher. The bullying and shit, it made the Irish people tough.
Right.
We had to survive, man. So it was good for us. It built character in the end.
There you go.
These days could use some of that.
And look at you now, baby.
Exactly.
You run the police department, the fire department, most construction joints, sanitation. Jesus.
That was done, man. That was done. Assimilation.
You bounced back.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go on. I don't want to get on to a
yeah, I'm gonna drop you guys. I'm gonna bring on somebody else in 1 second. Did you have anything else to say, Jamarhl?
No, that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna bring a North Shore Turtlebabe here. North Shore, how you doing?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. I just wanted to come on because I wanted to say hello to Jamarhl and introduce myself, because he is the most level-headed guest that you've had in a long time.
Yes, it's very rare.
Yeah, I'm sitting here in the comments. I'm like, I love this guy. I wish that he was in some type of position of power. Like, I am eating up
I'm not paying him
everything that he
reparations,
says.
though. Yeah, I'm not getting my check, but he doesn't want it, so that's good. So it's good.
Exactly. So I just want to say that I am Latina, soy Boricua, and I understand.
Are you really, or are
racism.
you a white Jewish woman?
No.
No, she's not a white.
Soy, no. Soy
Latina
Boricua.
kid. She's Latina.
Sí. So, Uncle Turtleboy does, employ people of color and women of color, and
Because she's a former blogger. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a former blogger. Turtleboy writes all his own stuff nowadays, but I do still come on every now and again.
She came up with the best names.
Yes. So, and I just wanted to say, like I said in the comments, and I know you're on Facebook, so you probably didn't see this, like all of the EBT monikers and all this stuff, it's usually directed at white people. Very, the vast majority of people that we blog about or have blogged about are, white, ratchet junkies, just the dregs of society that deserve the public shaming. And we've had a lot of people come on afterward and like say things like, I've turned my life around, and
that's a good point, actually. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I hit the rock bottom when you blogged about me, and it opened my eyes, and now I'm this productive member of society and all this stuff. So public shaming does work.
Yeah, we get those. We get story. I took a blog down last night. I got messages from people, like some guy from like 3 years ago messages me, and it's like, yeah, dude, you wrote about me. It was a really bad time. Here's where I am now. And I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I'm not trying to ruin your life. Like, I don't want this following you around forever. I'm not the Boston Globe. If you want it down and you're genuinely, you seem like a decent guy now, I'll take it down. No problem.
For sure. Wow. And I just want to say,
Turtleboy is employing Black people and saving lives. What a story here. What a story.
Yeah. And I just want to say that I personally, know and recognize that, racism does still exist to this day. I have been, a victim of it myself, to comments, just off-color comments in the grocery store. Even my children have been subjected to just some really nasty comments from people. So I know it still exists, and it's something that we as a society have, a duty to reverse and just stop with the bullshit. Honestly, like, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. We're all equal. It's an equal playing field.
I'm better than some of the people I blog about. Let's get that out.
Well, yeah, but not on the basis of, for sure. But she's also white, so not on the basis of your skin color alone, right?
I'm definitely better than
yeah. So we have a lot of work to just. Excuse me, sorry. We have a lot of work to do as a society, for fucking sure. That is, it exists. Turtleboy is not a fucking white supremacist platform. You're not racist. You employ fucking Latina women. Actually, I think all of your bloggers were women. So
yeah, at one point most of them were women. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, not for nothing. Donald Trump employs Black people, and Latino people.
Oh, we're gonna go to Trump. We don't want to go there.
No, and women too. I'm just saying he's definitely a racist, and
no
he does it too. So that's not the measure of racism. But just to get back on facts, because a lot of people are commenting.
I gotta drop you out. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, people wanted us to get back. All right, bye. Nice talking to you. People wanted us to get back on track here, but but to her point, people in my community a lot of times think that you're a gang. So why don't you talk a little bit about, like, when I say a gang, like, once again, back to the white supremacy thing, like, there's a bunch of you, and some of the words that you use for your community, like turtle riders, and, so people sometimes think that it's like bigger, like you're a biker gang or something, that it's bigger than it is. So why don't you talk a little bit about your thing first of all, like, it's just a website. How many people do you employ, or how many people did you employ at your largest time?
Yeah.
That's
I think the word they're looking for is cult, not gang.
Okay, cool.
But we do call each other turtle riders because we're based off of the statue in Worcester of a little boy who is literally riding a turtle. So that's where that came from, turtle riders. And it's a cool, whatever. It's a cool thing to call people that follow the blog. So definitely, I think there is a pack mentality to it. Like, I'm well aware of the fact that when I hit the publish button and I share something on Facebook, that this is going to have an immediate effect on the person that is written about, and that there will be a large group of people who will then go to that person. Now, I do the best I can, and I tell people, I'm like, I specifically, I can't stop you from going on these people's pages, but ask anybody. I tell them all the time, like, guys, let me do the talking. You know, let me be the face of this. Like, we don't need you fighting these battles. I'm like, I got this one, but you can't control everybody. People do what they do. And when people embarrass me, and when people do something that I believe is not representative of what the brand is all about, I'll throw them on the blog. I've done that before too. Like, I have no problem doing that. Like, if you embarrass me, I'll be more pissed about you, like giving us a bad name, than I will be about anybody I've ever blogged about.
Okay.
Question.
All right, so I want to make sure. See if DePino is in the is in the Zizitu or DePino.
Whatever he wants to go by. All I see in the stream, yeah. So if he wants to come in, once again, I'm going to put the link.
Yeah,
right
please.
there on YouTube. If he wants to come in, if he can call in, all he has to do is click that.
Right, and see, this is what I hate. I set something like this up. So many people had so much to say. People need to call in and chime.
Yeah, call in, man. I don't bite.
Exactly. He's a turtle.
Yeah, exactly. I just sent you the stream. If you want to throw that, if they're not over here, then you can throw that in your Facebook, whatever.
I put it up to 8,000. The direct stream to the stream yard.
Yeah.
That's how you let me put that up in there. Hold on, let me put that. All right, y'all. This is the direct thing to the stream thing, not the YouTube thing. This is the direct stream thing. All right, now let's get a level deeper here. And let's get back on the specific topic of Monica.
Oh, okay. Good.
By now, I know you've heard all of the things, the death threats, the this or the that. Do you feel responsible? What part do you have in any of that? Have you yourself ever made a phone call, a prank call? Have you encouraged other people to call? What do you feel about threats, harassment, all of this type of stuff? Give us your whole thing on what she has said has happened to her.
What she's done is right out of the classic playbook. This is what always happens when you blog about people. They immediately go to the, oh my God, I got death threats because of this. And it's his, like, they try to pin it on you. Like, it's your fault. I've literally been sued for this. I've had people take out harassment orders against me that get thrown out in court because I write about them. And then a third party contacts them after reading the blog and says some, a threatening thing or whatever. And I'm somehow responsible for that. Of course, I fundamentally reject that premise. If we were to operate under that basis, then free speech would essentially be neutered forever, right? Like Bernie Sanders couldn't campaign because a guy, one of his crazy followers, shot up Steve Scalise and Rand Paul at a baseball game. Donald Trump would be officially canceled, which I know some people would like because some of his followers do fucking crazy shit, right? So like we can't have a society like that where people get censored because of the actions of people who read or listen to the things that you're saying. That's not how it works. Now with Monica, I think she's making it up. It's always, I got 250 death threats. I mean, her whole shtick is like, everybody wants to kill me, but I'm so strong and I keep coming back because can't nobody silence me, but I need you to protect me and hit up that PayPal real quick. Like that's her whole shtick, right? She's not a victim. I don't think she's getting threats. I think the worst, like she said that one of the threats was like, somebody messaged me and called me racist. Bitch, you are racist, right? So that's accurate in my opinion. I know you don't think she's capable of that, and that's a different story. But my point here is that like she's a public figure. She makes herself that, and she's extremely controversial. So if she gets threatening messages, I don't condone threats at all. But this, welcome to my world. I get death threats on a daily basis. It's part of being a public figure.
So, it's funny that you say that. So, I used to be a controversial underground rapper with a lot of controversial.
Me too.
You were a rapper?
Oh, I do a freestyle. You heard my freestyles?
Well, that's why I was so shocked that you used to be a rapper.
Yeah. Still am. Yeah.
Well, I don't call it that. So that's racism. All right. So not only being a controversial rapper, but then also when I was, high-ranking official in the new Black Panther Party from 2002 to 2010, and I think in my entire life I don't have over 100, right? Actual death threats, like I'm gonna kill you. I got plenty of you suck, I hate what you said, you're an idiot. I got plenty of just regular.
You were active. You were into that stuff before Facebook and before.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Message rooms even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That type of stuff. So yeah, message boards and all that stuff. So I get it. All right. Now, what about and okay, somebody asked too, like, what could ever possibly embarrass you? And I'm gonna roll that into this other question, which is like, do you feel like you ever go over the top? Like when I called you, as much as I don't care for what Monica is doing and this type of thing, when you called her a ratchet ass hoe, even that I was like, ugh,
yeah,
you know. Now, had you said ratchet ass, I might have said okay. But the ratchet ass hoe was just a bridge too far. And then also the point of her video when her kids got on there and some of the commentary that you were doing towards the kids, you know, I felt was above and beyond. I wouldn't want, you know, anybody, you know, like I'm sure you wouldn't want anybody, you know, talking about your kids like that, even though your kids are younger. Yeah. My kid is older. My daughter's 22. And I swear to God, you ever do a blog about her, I'll see you on your doorstep. You know what I mean? So I want to keep all the kids out of it, you know, so some of that stuff is like over the top. What do you see as going too far? Do you think you've gone too far, you know, at any time? And what is over the top? What can embarrass or shame you?
These are good questions. I listen, you know, I go back and listen to my pods. Sometimes I read old blogs I've written, and sometimes I read them. I'm like, ooh, that's cringe. Wish I could take that one back. Right. Like it just like in the ratchet asshole thing that I said about Monica, that's one of those things. Like I listen to that and I'm like, now that I'm a father and my kid's getting a little bit older, I'm like, do I want my kids hearing that? Like, do I want them to listen to that and be like, that's what you call people? And like, I think I need, so my point here is I don't care if other people are offended by it. That means nothing to me. I care if I'm offended by it. So the only person I apologize to for that is me. I apologize to myself because I need to be better for me and for my kids. I could give a fuck less if other people are offended by that. I just need to be the best turtle boy that I can be and the best blogger and the best podcaster that I can be and put my best foot out there every day. And when I don't do that, I need to be better for me, not for anyone else.
I got a comment that said, we just gonna ignore the fact that he called her a bitch. White men should never be allowed to call black women bitches publicly or otherwise.
Would she prefer if I called her a cunt? Because she's really more of a cunt, in my opinion.
Okay. So I had never heard you call her a bitch. So you did call her a bitch.
I might have. I don't know.
I haven't heard. I mean, I haven't heard all your broadcasts, but I haven't heard that. But okay. So if so, you're okay with that too? Yeah,
I mean, a cunt is a better word. But
so you prefer cunt over bitch?
Yeah, cunt is one of the 3 words that I brought back that were you couldn't say them before, and I decided I brought them back. The 3 words that I brought back are cunt, retard, and fag. Those are the 3 words that you're not really supposed to say anymore, but they're great words. They're great fucking words, and they fit so many times in conversations, and it just fits so many times. Like that person's a cunt, stop being a retard, or don't be a fag. Like those are great words that we used to say all the time in the 90s. And then somebody decided you can't say them anymore. And I brought them back.
Not for nothing. This is funny because this is where cultural differences come in. Cause that is some white boy stuff right there.
What?
I don't think I've said cunt 2 times in my life. And they both might've just happened here repeating you. You know what I mean? Like we just don't say cunts. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Huh?
It's a great word.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's an English word. In England, they all say it. They call each other right cunts. I have a few London turtle riders. They call me cunts all the time.
Yeah. So the closest to come to it for us is like West Indian, where it's like, your mother skunt, right? so it's a mix. It's like motherfucker or these type of things. But okay. So yeah, so people wanted to do the bitch thing. So he just said,
is that a big no-no? Is that a big no-no calling her a bitch or?
I mean, yeah. Okay. So put it like this. Yeah. For me, certainly, if you did that to my mama or my daughter.
No, but to Monica, is it because Monica's black? I'm not allowed to call her that.
Yeah. So okay. So generally, yeah, white men. I mean, in general, as a man, I don't really call anybody a bitch unless I'm really in private conversation and I'm being really saucy, but like in public conversation, I don't talk about any women like that either. I have a whole poem where I go into this whole rant about that white bitch or the mother of that white bitch. And it's talking about the girl who got Emmett Till killed by lying on him, right? And saying that he, grabbed her ass or whatever it was.
That
right?
word has racial connotations, bitch does?
When it's a white man to a black woman, it takes on a different meaning. And put it like this. Don't walk into a bar in Roxbury and start throwing it around. Put it like that.
It's not a common word. I'm surprised. I'm honestly, I don't remember saying that. It's not one of the big words that I use, bitch. I don't like it that much. I prefer cunt. So if I said it, I don't apologize.
Anything, too.
I apologize to me.
It's the same reason, like the hoe thing. Ratchet ass hoe. It's a whole nother connotation, even though hoe to me is like not a big deal, right? But hoe, when you're talking about a black woman, and
it's a hip hop word.
That's
the first thing that comes to mind.
Sure. Right? Okay. Yes. All right.
So I get that.
All right. So in any event, people don't like it. And as I said, those type of things, and the things about the kids, obviously, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, but the community just don't like that stuff.
Yeah, and with the kids thing, I might have said a crack or two about Monica's kids, but they're 18, and she specifically said, "I'm training my kids to be activists. They're going to take over once she gets assassinated like Malcolm X and goes down in a rain of bullets by some white supremacist. The kids are going to take over the family business of ripping off white women in Winchester."
And I know some of them kids as adults. So the ones that I say that I have less of a problem with you going after are the ones who did the rap videos, because the rap videos are on YouTube, and then therefore, it's fair game to comment on it. You know what I mean?
Somebody called me racist the other day at the rally because of what I said about, I think his name's Naraya. I don't remember anything racist about anything I said about him.
Well, so once again, in my community, there's a racist tinge to everything that you say, right? Because the lens that folks feel like it's coming. Okay, so for instance, when you stand out and say, "I'm out here protesting against racism," people, I don't know if you know this, and you're a sharp guy, I'm pretty sure you do. People don't believe you, man. They think you're being sarcastic and all this type of shit. And using the play on the words and the twist, because
I'm co-opting it.
Okay, so there you go. So those type of things.
I'm using leftist strategies against leftists, and it's driving them insane. And I'm going to keep doing it.
This is what I try to tell people. People don't get it. Once again, to me, that's why I keep saying shtick is the best term that I could think about. Okay, if I thought that you was a real white supremacist threat in the area, we would have a major problem, right? What I realize is you're just a sarcastic white guy with a website. You know what I mean? So,
you figured it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sharp like that. So to me, this is no different than everything. When you talked about some of your radio people, like I said, I listen to Howie Carr. I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh. When I was in Atlanta, I listened to a guy named Neil Bortz. I used to listen to Don Imus on actual terrestrial radio, all these types of things. So this does not, what's the other guy? Big George, Bubba the Love Sponge, and all these type of guys.
It's not my generation.
Yeah.
Well, my generation's like Ben Shapiro, people like that.
Okay. So my point is, I've seen this before. I'm not like, this does not threaten or scare me or whatever. Look, okay, now here go we again. Because look, I got a guy on here, Joe, because and he really has been going on this. And Joe, you really have to call me because we need to have a phone call, because there's a lot I need to talk to you about offline that I just will never discuss publicly. But all right, so a lot of people really think that this whole the enemy and my enemy is my friend. They think we're buddy and all this. So let's go back to our relationship. How many times before today do you think you and I have spoken on the telephone or the Facebook phone?
Probably 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. That's
always business. Like we don't talk about, I don't call you up to invite you over for the picnic or anything like that.
We've never met in person.
Yeah.
I don't know where you live. Do you know where I live?
Somewhere around Boston.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Big place though.
Right, exactly. And I know you're from Worcester,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you're still out there.
Yeah, it's all a kingdom to people. There's a lot of anti-central mass discrimination. Everything past 495 they think is like a jungle. It's all the same shit to them.
Yeah.
We're real people too. We count. We have feelings.
All right. Now the guy, Depina, he says, why should I he had said that was a while ago, but he said, why should I make him famous? So I just want to be clear. So do y'all wanna get on here or no? If you don't, you know what they say when you get married, speak now, forever hold your peace. All right. All right.
You gonna make me famous? Come on, Joe. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's a popular guy, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. After the blog, I went and watched some of his streams. He's fucking crazy. I'm like, oh, this guy is just fucking crazy. Like, and the way Rachel Rollins talked to him, she talked to him like she was the auntie dealing with the fucking crazy ADHD kid, and she's like, you just hold my phone and my badge and look at the shiny object, and maybe he'll stop. And it actually worked. Rachel Rollins is a very interesting character.
All right. So I don't even want to touch that. You ain't gonna get me in no trouble. So a lot of this stuff here too, once again, okay, look, see, a lot of these questions we already answered. Does he have any affiliations to white supremacy groups? That was already asked and answered.
Like, do these guys really think there's like, they really think that like I'm like a white supremacist? Like that's my big thing. Like I'm a fucking comedian. I'm like an entertainer that does like big story. You know what I mean? Like I do investigative reporting. Like they really think I'm like like I can't tell if it's genuine or not, or if they really actually think that.
No, they really think that. And once again, in my thing, I'm not just a person in the community who just talk, white supremacist, because I'm a guy who has studied it. That's why I asked those qualifying questions, not just, are you what? KKK, any of those affiliations, Aryan Nation, Aryan Brotherhood, skinhead, neo-Nazi. You know, there's all these different variations of that thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. One of my first cases was going after a guy, a real neo-Nazi, who beat up and attacked 3 black girls in downtown Crossing, Boston. That guy's name was Josiah Spalding III. He was the heir to Spalding Hospital and all that. His father to this day is the guy that runs the Wang Center. And his name is Josiah Spalding III. But he was calling himself Lars. And he was a Uberman, and I don't mean the car company, okay? So he was on all that German Nazi kick, and me and some people had to go up into Harvard Square and chase them crazy bald heads out of the yard, okay? And we were up there looking for people with, what are them combat boots? What's that company out of London? You know, what's it, Jack? What are those boots that everybody has? What type of black combat boots? It's a real popular brand.
The ones that all the Antifa wears now, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They were all wearing them the other day.
Is it Doc Martens? Doc Martens.
Okay.
So they all wear the Doc Martens, but with the white supremacists at that time, the big thing that they would take out the laces and they would have white laces, and that's how you would know them. So in any event, I've been on the hunt. And that's why I tried to explain to these people, in my humble opinion, and I hope you don't take this as a slight, but as much shit talking as you do to other people, it doesn't matter if you do. To me, you're just a regular goofy white boy. There's no
I don't take any offense to that.
Yeah, there's no fucking mystery here. All right.
I prefer to be known as that because that's like, you know, who's going to be offended by that?
Yeah, you got a smart, sarcastic mouth. That granted, a lot of the things that you say on the web, if you were saying in person, you know,
I've been punched in the face before. Let me tell you, like growing up, this is me my whole life. It wouldn't be the first time I've been punched in the face. Trust me.
It looks like it.
Yes. I mean, this always didn't get this way on accident, my friend. All right. And I think a big difference is like, so you're talking about these people you've dealt with the Klan, you've dealt with the, actual white supremacists. Monica Cannon Graham, people like her have overused that word so often. It's just their default word that it's lost all meaning. Like, you can't just call everybody you don't like a white supremacist, because then you're the boy who cried wolf. Nobody knows when the real white supremacist is there. Like she did when fucking Boston in 3 years ago. Oh, the Nazis are coming. The Charlottesville Nazis are coming. It was Dr. Shiva and some Bernie bros in a gazebo. There's like fucking 10 of them. Like nobody showed, it's like 50,000 people there to protest Dr. fucking Shiva, who has also been on my show and is a certifiable lunatic himself.
Oh, he's a certified lunatic. And let me tell you my Dr. Shiva issue. So when I actually ran for office, there's a big field in Grove Hall next to the post office. And my buddy owns that land. Shout out to Share. And he allowed me to put my big trailer up there. And there's like a mini billboard thing. And Share allowed me to use the billboard and put signs on. And it's been used way before me, and it's been used after me. And, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. One time I'm driving through there, and all of a sudden when he was running, there was a big Dr. Shiva sign. He had took down matter of fact, he took down Liz Miranda's sign and put a big Dr. Shiva
I don't like that chick.
Sign right up over there. Oh, I bet you don't. And not for nothing, that's another question. People said, why do you have so much problems with black people in power?
I don't. I like conservative black people in power. My problem is most black people in power are liberals. I don't like liberals. Okay. I'm a conservative 100%. I don't like liberal ideology. I think it's fucking ridiculous. We can debate that, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that like 90% of black people in this country are liberal. So it's very rare, right? Like, and I feel like honestly, like the conservative black people get it so much worse than me as a conservative white guy. People assume as a white guy, you're going to be conservative, right? That's like the default. Whereas a black person, if a black person, especially a black woman like Leigha or, Candace Owens, if they come out and they're conservative, nobody gets it worse than them. They get fucking treated like shit, man. And you saw it with Leigha. The expectation is you're black and you're female. You better be liberal. And if not, we're going to go after you fucking harder than I've ever gone after any fucking white guy.
Okay, hold on here. Somebody says on my Facebook, and y'all got to understand a couple things. I'm trying to do both things here because y'all will not follow goddamn instructions.
Oh, Zhao's in YouTube now, I see. He says,
okay, so he's there finally, but I think he said he doesn't want to talk. But if he wants to talk, I don't know. If he wants to talk, say you want to talk, Zhao.
Yeah,
raise your hand or whatever it is.
If he wants to
whatever. But there's a person here who I can't tell white or black or what have you, but it says, since you won't answer my question on YouTube, which once again, hey, don't think that I'm avoiding no questions. I'm just scrolling here. I'm an old man. You see these glasses here? Mm-hmm. Give me a minute. So it says, since you won't answer my question on YouTube, what is the difference between KKK, Aryan Brotherhood, and the new Black Panthers? Y'all hate whites and Jews. Okay. So without spending, once again, that's like in the Q&A of answer questions that I've had to answer like 8 million times in my life. So the difference between the new Black Panthers, of which, if you were listening, I was a member from 2002 and I left in 2010. So I'm no longer a member of the new Black Panthers. I want to clear that up. So that's number one. But I cannot disavow, it's just like anything else. There's some good people in there and there's some crazy as cat shit people in there. But my experience was my experience. I really wouldn't take too much away from it, except for the fact that I left when I did. In terms of y'all hate whites and Jews. Well, one thing that you may not know about me, I cut my hair a while ago, but I'm a Rastafarian. And so when I pray to Jehovah God, El Shaddai Adonai, right? So I am of what most folks would think is a Hebrew kind of faith, right? I pray to Jehovah God, and I'm not a Jehovah Witness, right? For those who ain't paying attention in the back, right? So my God is Jehovah, Yahweh, right? So I don't hold to white supremacy. Anti-Semitism or what have it that these people would call it or what have you. And in terms of hating whites and Jews,
can I just interrupt real quick? Because
sure.
One of your friends, I think I blogged about him, the firefighter from the Vulcans a couple of years ago. Oh,
he's on here.
He wrote some pretty anti-Semitic shit on there, right?
Well, he's more than capable of defending himself, and he's certainly on my face thing. And if he wants to get on here, he most certainly should. Because so not for nothing, over the years, obviously, I've disagreed with a bunch of stuff that you've said or people that you've targeted. You've targeted Diane Wilkerson, who is near and dear to me.
Yes, I found that out. She's a lot of come on. Diane Wilkerson, the first thing anybody thinks of is the bride.
I understand why you did it, but I'm telling you, see, once again, just think like if you're in a bar in Roxbury, think about what could get me punched in my mouth. Okay, these are the types of things like you're going after the beloved people in the community who, number one, you don't got the full story because it was a setup, but we ain't going to re-debate that here. In other words, you went after Diane Wilkerson. Obviously, I'm not a fan of that. You went after Carlos Enriquez. I'm obviously not a fan of that. You tried to come after me. And then obviously we got it straightened out because I called direct, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you've been after a litany of people. The firefighter guy, I don't want to mention his name here because I don't want to identify him if he doesn't want to be identified. Yeah. But the firefighter guy is a very dear friend of mine and is one of the most cerebral people that I know. And so I really wish, and not for you, because his question too was whether or not you even consider yourself a like true journalism or what have you.
Yeah, and that's a good question. So like a certain percentage, probably like 40 or 50% of the blogs are like actual investigative journalism, stuff like that. Whereas the other ones are just entertainment. Somebody wrote something funny on Facebook. Let's do a quick little blog on it. Entertainment. Like I like to mix it up.
Okay, all right, and my fault because I just want to finish Courtney Anderson Messier's question about the new. Yeah, sure. Okay, so for instance, the hating whites and Jews. Well, I want you to do a little homework assignment. I want you to go through newspaper clips or whatever for the past, I don't know, and you find me the groups of black men that went anywhere and beat up little white boys or beat up little old white people or something like that in racially motivated attacks.
Oh, I know a few.
Oh, okay, but if you do, those are isolated incidents and not part of organized things. So, well, fine. Then provide your evidence.
Okay, so I mean
hold on. My point is that.
Yeah.
My point is that the new Black Panther Party, nor anybody else that any conservative white person might think is horrible, Nation of Islam or whatever, has a track record of going around burning white people's homes, burning down entire white towns, shooting black officers, shooting white children. White kid wanders into a black neighborhood and fucking gets killed by a black mob. And so while you may have some isolated incidents, you do not, sir, have a history of 5,000 lynchings. You do not have a history. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
History is not the same. I will give you that.
Yeah, right. So when people say, well, what's the difference between the new Black Panthers and the KKK? There you go. That's the difference.
Like, so I try history. I'm familiar with the reasons why the Black Panthers forms, and I get it. Like when I was protesting against Monica Cannon Grant the other day, my big thing is nonviolent, peaceful resistance, right? But I got touched for the first time on one of these things. And if you saw in there, I reacted. I swore at them. I was ready to fucking punch one of these little Antifa motherfuckers, right in the head. And I realized, I'm like, how the fuck did Martin Luther King?
How would you do that? Because most of those were women. So I saw that.
No, there was one guy. There was a guy.
I saw him, the guy with the what you call his grandmother's Drake jacket on.
The wallpaper jacket. Yeah. I mean, that guy, I'm like thinking, who the fuck does this douchebag think he is? You know what I mean? But Martin Luther King and John Lewis, they went to places, they took training in getting this shit kicked out of them. They wanted to. I don't know how the fuck they did it. But the new generation of Stokely Carmichael was in SNCC earlier on, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. His views changed. He radicalized. By the 1965, 1966, they were calling Martin Luther King Dr. King, right? And Martin Luther Coon, they called him sometimes. Because they didn't want to do that anymore. They weren't willing to do it. So I get it. I get why younger Black people felt the need to form, basically armed militias, right? I mean, that's essentially what the Black Panthers were, an armed militia. And that wanted to fight back because they didn't want to do the nonviolent thing. I get it.
All right, listen. People are saying that YouTube is not answering or whatever. Is
What do
it?
you mean YouTube's not answering?
I don't know. I don't because
Let me just.
I don't have your YouTube screen.
I got it. I'm gonna bring a couple. We got some people waiting. I'm gonna bring them in real quick. If you guys come in, you got like 30 seconds to get your questions out of the way, and we're gonna do it.
Please stay on topic.
Yeah, stay exactly. Bring on Team Bobinson. What's up, team?
Yo, what's up? I love the back and forth. I'm a turtle guy.
You're the
all
rapper.
way. Of course.
You're
I'm
the
a
guy that
turtle.
made the song, the Karen song. Yes.
Of course, yes.
You guys
But I
are not
also
rappers. You gotta stop calling yourself rappers.
I'm enjoying the civil back and forth. I don't agree with Spike Lee, but at the same time, I enjoy the civil discord. Thank you very much.
Hold
God
on,
bless
you gotta
America.
stay there. Don't go yet.
Trump
Don't go yet.
2020.
Don't go yet. You calling me Spike Lee?
Yeah, that's right,
Kind of
bro.
funny. It's kind of funny.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
That's what. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Spike Lee.
You laughed.
Whoa. Now that's a first. Now
Yeah.
that's a first. I've been called a lot of things in my life. Never Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Thank
You're a rapper. I need to hear some of this.
Well, yeah,
stuff.
I'll play the song. I'll send the song for you.
No,
after.
I'm not a rap. I'm a country folk singer. I just did one freestyle.
It was
drum.
good though. I liked it. I'll send it to you. It was about
You're also, as you people say, shit-faced right now.
You people?
Yes,
That's
you
racist,
people.
brother.
You people.
You people.
Wait, what do you guys call drunk? What do
Huh?
black people call drunk?
Drunk.
Can I ask you a quick question? What's up, boys?
Oh, there's the Karen voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
her face is a lot better than his. Thank you.
So,
All right, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on.
I
to
have
next
a quick question about
Shoot.
my young son put a rap song today, and guess what the first word was?
Turtleboy.
N-word. So
He said
why
the
is it
N-word.
okay
Oh.
to use? Why is it okay for? I don't agree with that.
Okay, so
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna drop you out, and then he's gonna answer that for you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. This
Well,
is
yeah, good question.
this-
How come white people can't use the N-word, black people can?
well. So first of all, I don't believe that black people should either. But that's a whole nother story. I wish I had a magic wand and could erase it from every rap song and whatnot. And for a long time, in things that I've written, hip hop essays and commentaries in my books and so on and so forth, and even the hip hop that I do is exactly against that. In fact, Chuck D from Public Enemy made a song one time called "The Anti-N-Word Machine," and the thing is really, unfortunately for a lot of white people, they've got introduced to black culture with all of the negative stuff, and then now that they think that that's what it is, they think it's a big gold chains and da and the N-word here and there and whatnot. And so in their emulation, unfortunately, it's almost like people who learn a new language. And most people who learn a new language, what's the first things you know? All the swear words and all the pickup lines, right?
I got yeah. I mean, I don't use the N-word, but it's really fucking hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. When you hear a rap song, and there's a lot of good memes that have the N-word. There's a lot of good.
All I can say is you guys know why you shouldn't, and you
yeah,
should.
no, it's
And if you
really
do,
hard.
all I can say is,
Yeah.
and if you do, just don't act crazy and surprised when the consequences, happen. Because so, for instance, this was a question. I actually wrote this question down. This was the question from earlier. So, Turtleboy, let's say me and you, as we know each other right now, you, Turtleboy guy, me, Jamarhl, Blackstonian guy. After coronavirus is over, we meet somewhere. We're in a bar. We're having a chat. You say the N-word, the whole N-word out for whatever reason.
ER or A?
No, ER.
Oh,
Okay. But it wouldn't matter to me. But whatever. But you say the ER. What would you expect my reaction to be?
That'd get really awkward, man. That'd be really fucking awkward, and I don't think it would end well.
Right. It would be a physical confrontation. Right. No, seriously. Because I grew up in a time from the after busing thing. We were not the generation who ran from the white boys. We were the generation who fought. Yeah. We got called the N-word. We didn't run home. We ran to the people that called the N-word and bubbled up their lips. Right. So what I'm saying is that it's a different time and a different age. And I think, like you said, you don't say the N-word. That's great. And I encourage you to keep that tradition. Seriously, for that lady who just said that her kid, I don't know how old her kid is, but she really does need to have a serious conversation with that kid
So in her defense, right? Like, so I taught it, because of hip hop, because of the prevalence of that word in hip hop, there are white kids love hip hop.
I know.
They listen to it and they don't know. Like at Shepherd Hill, when all the kids were white there, they said the N-word all the time. And I had to have conversations with them. Like, look at guys, you come to Worcester and you start saying that shit, it's not going to end well for you. Like you have to have the conversation with white kids to let them know, no.
Many white boys in the Boston hip hop scene know me very well, and they got taught that lesson very directly. Yeah, I don't tolerate that stuff. When they thought it was cool, and I'm talking about this is in the beginning of or the second wind of the Boston hip hop scene, Acrobatic and Mr. Liff, and a lot of these white rappers who did think that they could get a pass and say the N-word. All right, anybody else go on? And we got stuff in the chat too.
Yeah, Ozzy, what's up? What you got?
Yeah, so I am a daughter of two people who are in an interracial marriage.
Okay.
And my question is to Mr. Crawford is how do you perceive with what Monica did, attacking people in interracial marriages? It's kind of offensive. I mean,
so this is an interesting question because we haven't addressed this. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Jamarhl can't stand Monica, and maybe you can explain why.
That's awesome. I've been going back and off with online tonight, so I've been getting tidbits of the show. So my apologies.
I'm going to drop you and answer that question for you. Thank you for calling in.
And I'm going to tangle this up in a bunch of stuff. So along with a lot of the accusations, obviously you see that I'm light skinned. So one of the things that's happened my whole life is people have said I'm interracial, which I'm not. Right? My mother is black. My father is black. My grandparents are black. I'm black. I'm just light skinned. I'm sure that Master creeped up in the slave quarters somewhere along the lineage, but nobody that I know at the family reunion. Okay. So I am a black man, a full-blooded, full-blown black man. Now, what's my view on interracial relationships? I don't think that people should marry white men. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to marry one. That's my joke. That's a joke. It's a joke. So what I'm saying is that if I don't believe in interracial relationships, what I can do is make sure that I don't get in one. So my particular preference is I'm not going to marry a white woman. I'm not going to marry a white man, certainly, right? That was the joke. Right. But if other people do, what am I going to do? Go around the world kicking over their mailboxes?
You want to marry a white woman? You never dated a white girl?
Did I? Have I in my life? Sure. I mean, I can tell you really bad stories. Put it like this. Once again, just like I know white guys like you growing up in Metco, the white girls, they were the fastest ones. They gave it up way before the black girls. So most black guys from the hood, most of their first really filthy sexual experiences happened with a white girl.
With uncooked vagina.
Well, that's what it's been called. So yeah, just keeping it 100% real. These are the types of experiences that happened once again in post-busing Boston. So white girls were curious about black guys were curious about white girls, whatever. So it happens. And at the end of the day, I don't really care. I don't have the time to be looking for who you got in your bed at night. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I can say is if I don't agree with homosexual relationships, the best thing I can do is make sure I don't get in one. Right? Period. That's all the control I have.
Brazilian women.
What about Brazil? Well, see,
highly recommended. Just to throw it out there.
Now you're being sexist and misogynist. We'll get on that too.
Massage therapist. Yeah.
Brazilian women are black women. Puerto Rican, most Latinos, all of that is under my definition of black. Most Indian, all that. So whatever. In any event, what she said about interracial relationships, what I can say about it is I don't really care that that's her view. What I can tell you is that the way that she expressed it was disgusting and crass, and we don't talk like that in civilized society. So even if she felt as though it was wrong for Leigha to be married to a white man or whatever, there was just a whole nother way to say that would have given her a lot less grief and would have made her look a lot more intelligent. But she chose the low road and it exploded in her face. And not for nothing, it was ironic being the fact that other people who she associates with, a la somebody like Rachel Rollins, who she has both been friend and foe, right? Depending on which way the wind is blowing.
Because Rachel Rollins has one white parent.
Exactly. Her father is white, which means that it's the exact interracial relationship. It's a black mother and a white husband.
Without riding white penis, there would be no Rachel Rollins.
That's it. So that slur applied to her too, and it's just there's no way that is intelligent conversation, or it doesn't move anyone forward. It doesn't feel like good. It's horrible.
So there are legitimate things, right? That Black Lives Matter has brought up, right? There are legitimate things, concerns, things that can be worked on. I'm
not a supporter of Black Lives Matter.
Right. But my point is there are certain things that can be worked on. Monica makes a caricature out of it, and she's a poor representation. And I think that's the issue that a lot of people have, is that there are better leaders in the community, and Monica Cannon Grant has kind of been appointed by the Globe and the media as like the leader. Like yesterday, Breonna Taylor verdict happens, right? And what happens? Boston Globe immediately seeks out Monica Cannon Grant, immediately, like a magnet.
Okay, so hold on. I'm sorry. Somebody keeps coming in. Why are you still talking about this? Let it go. Why are you even engaging this dude? Because I'm a guy who gets answers to questions. The questions are that this guy is threatening people, there's death threats, he's a white supremacist. So the best way that I know to clear things up is go directly to the horse's mouth. Yep. It really almost bothers me when people ask about why am I talking about it? I'm talking about it because it's a thing. I've been accused of being in bed with this guy, the head of the local white supremacists, as well as the Boston police, in a murder plot to kill this woman.
So you're here to clear your name.
A little outrageous.
You're partly here to clear your name a little bit.
Hell yeah, I'm here to clear my name.
That's fair.
I'm certainly not here to boost your ratings.
Yeah. So I just brought someone else on. Their name is Quick Question TR here. What do you got?
Hey, Aidan. It's actually Lynn. But
who's this?
It's actually Lynn, one of your
Lynn,
followers. This whole discussion and bullshit, excuse me, that's what I'm going to call it, is ridiculous. I grew up in a city. I am a white girl with blue eyes and light hair. I now reside in a very white state. And I am going to say that I would never want my child to use the N-word. However, white people should not be disrespected either. Just because we are white does not mean we can't have a relationship with anyone we want. My daughter is part Indian. Does that change it for her, Jamarhl? Because that really makes me angry. Because I know supremacists and I know black.
Let me defend Jamarhl right there. I gotta be honest with you. Sometimes you're just not attracted to. Like, I'm not. There's very few black women I'm attracted to. I've never been with a black girl before my whole life, right? I never really pursued them. It doesn't mean I'm racist. It's sometimes people just don't have a type.
Right. No, Aidan, I'm not upset with that. Right. I'm upset with the fact that, if you don't agree with interracial marriage, that's one thing. But to group anybody of any color in one category and then white people in a completely separate category, that pisses me off. And I'm just going to say how it is. I'm also going to say, and I just said, I know white supremacists, not that I'm friends with them, but I know they exist. And I know they're in the northern community where I live. I also know black people. Do I treat them the same way? I absolutely do. Should Aidan have gotten pushed yesterday? No, he shouldn't. Why is no one talking about that? Why is everyone talking about just color? Because this is not about color.
Yeah.
It's not.
It was white people who pushed me, except for Refrigerated Dairy. She was black.
Right. Well,
other than that, they're all white.
Isn't really anything but a cow.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were all under direct,
Yeah, I feel
directed by Monica to do what they did. There's no doubt in my mind. You can tell by that behavior. So why don't we start just calling out everybody that is causing a problem? And instead of segregating people, because didn't we try to end that years and years ago? Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. Come on.
I'm gonna let Jamarhl. I'm gonna drop in and let Jamarhl answer. Thank you for coming on.
So when you say we tried to end that, I guess you meant like, you know, racial oppression and that type of thing. So although there was a small amount of white people who also did, you know, contribute to that, obviously, right? By and large, yeah, mainstream white America was not really for that. So when you say we, no, I don't think we did that. The other thing about, in terms of interracial relationships, funny thing my grandmother used to always say, right? If a white man calls us a monkey, and dirty and filthy, why does he want to screw us? So let me tell you about interracial relationships. The white man has never had a problem screwing anybody. Okay, so in all the conquests, in all of the colonialization, whether it was the white Spanish, the white French, the white English, everywhere that they went, you will find a mix. Right, interracial mix, because everywhere they went, part of conquering, I think it was an old Saturday Night Live skit or Mel Brooks or something. They say, salt the fields and rape the women, right? And then the other guy says, like, rape the fields and salt the women, right? So it was known that part of the conquest was basically screwing whoever you encounter. So the first people that got into, don't look surprised.
No, but it's, I mean, what's wrong with that? You gotta get your dick wet.
What's wrong with that? Okay, maybe you're not getting the history teacher.
Oh no, I'm against rape. Let's just be clear. I'm against Thomas Jefferson having sex with. I'm against that. I'm against that.
Let's go back a little bit more. I'm talking about conquistadors when they went into the inner basin of the Amazon, right? Who screwed everything that they could see. Columbus, who, when he came into the Caribbean and all that, screwed everything that they saw. The English, when they went into the interior of Africa, who screwed everything that they saw. The Belgian, who went into the Congo and screwed everything that they saw. So I'm not talking, you know, fiction. They went in to get the gold, to get the diamonds, and while they're there, get some booty.
You got a boner. You know, it is what it is.
No. But you're making it. Hold on. You're making it like we're talking about the Pocahontas Disney love story,
right?
The white people fall in love. No, I'm talking about rape.
Yeah, not good.
Conquest.
I'm against that.
Good. I'm glad you're against rape. Great. Right. We've made progress here this evening. Turtleboy is against rape. Thank you.
Can I bring on Shug Avery here? What story is that from? That's a character. And is that from what the hell is the book? Shug Avery. I'll bring her on right now. Shug, what book is that from?
That is from Color Purple. That is
Purple. Alice Walker. Right. I read that book too.
Oh, I know her.
That's
Oprah's yes, it is.
You look great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So what I wanted to say, which I thought was so interesting. So I know Jamarhl, and I've had some experiences with Monica, and I just know Joa. I'm a Black girl from Milton, and I don't necessarily agree. No, I'm not going to say I don't agree with anything that Monica says. And I feel like this whole conversation has been dope. But from the Black community, it seems kind of like fake outrage, because we've been dragging Monica for her behavior and how she treats and talks to us. So it just seems really weird to now to listen to a conversation where people are defending anything that has to do with this woman, where even myself feels like I've been threatened behind her. You know, your violence in Boston, but the people that you roll with is willing to go pull up on people and all types of crazy stuff. Like, you manipulate. I feel like she gaslights my people when it comes to Black people. I feel like she takes her personal issues that she has and tries to fold it into a bigger conversation when it comes to, we do have systematic racism, but, you know, I've just seen her do a lot of manipulative things that I don't appreciate it. I don't like us, or I also don't like that people keep on trying to say that we all support or feel like there's something that you did something wrong when it came to talking about Monica or Joa, because of the way he speaks when he's on these crime scenes. It's despicable. You know, it's you go and you antagonize the police officers. I've seen you speak to police officers like, "Oh, did you just come out of training? Are you just like, who are you? You're a distraction on the scene. If you're there just for us to see what you're doing, then shut the fuck up."
That was a triple shooting. Somebody died there. Yeah, it's like that's like somebody's fucking dead right there, and you're like,
the attention is not on the shooting; it's now on you want to be acknowledged because you go antagonize the police officers. No, I'm sorry, I just don't.
I like Shug Avery. You're a smart chick. I like it.
Well, like I said, I don't want to but this seems fake to me. I'm sorry, Jamarhl, because we don't we just I literally sit in groups where people have talked shit about Monica. I know Monica's gotten people to try to threaten other people. Like this is crazy to me that you're defending her, to be honest, or even
he's not defending. Is he defending her?
I don't think he's defending her, but what I think is even talking to you about some of the things like calling the bitch or saying anything, using the language towards her, she does not need any protection for how she speaks to people. Okay, you get what I'm saying? So
what do you think of
So see, what I'm trying to do is just set up a general rules of engagement, and what I try to do is so for instance, I hate when people are like, we're cool when we agree, but if we don't agree, all rules are off. I don't like that stuff. So the same way, if me and you had a big deep-rooted conflict and you start acting crazy and whatnot, I would tell him the same thing. Hey, you could say Shug Avery, is crazy and she got a dirty mouth or whatnot, but ease back on the hoe and leave her kids out of it. So all I'm saying is that,
but hold on, Monica, she uses her kids and she lets kids in grown folks' business. Those are not kids anymore. Those are adults.
Look. All I can say is like this. When a person, right, he's loving this.
Because you are having a conversation with the right person. I don't like the victimhood of trying to be the plain victim because you're now receiving some of the
Stop. Watch this. Let's say I came to shoot you. Bang, bang. I want to shoot you. You are such a coward that you grab your own child and put your child right in front of you. Right? Now, for me, I have a decision to make. Do I still shoot or do you get it past that day?
I see what you're saying.
You get it past that day. So all I'm saying is that I'm not going to shoot if the kid's in the back of the car. I'm not going to shoot if you use your kid as a human shield, even though that's
you think she deserves grace? Because what exactly is going to address the problem? Because this violence in Boston thing that she's using to siphon money from people.
No. So once again, when I say grace, look, I don't know if you've ever heard the term a gangster and a gentleman. I'm a gangster and a gentleman. So look. I believe that she needs to be exposed. I believe that I hope that what she's doing is stopped, and I hope that she goes and gets the help that she needs. But certain ways, that's why when I quote unquote come at her, I try to come at her in a way that would not be like my daughter can listen to anything that I've said about that black woman and not feel like her father's a scumbag. So I try to be super careful about what I say and keep it directly related to the issue. And, that's why ratchet is okay, because the behavior that she's doing, the words that are coming out of her mouth are in fact ratchet.
She's a narcissist. And for me, it feels like, the more that, you try to see the good, she kind of uses it against you. You know what I mean? It's just, I just don't feel
I feel like Jamal's kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit. He has to say something critical. He can't.
No, I don't play devil's advocate. No, I'm telling you from my heart.
Let me tell you what happened, what caused her to have people, and she does it very, she's very sneaky. So she'll do her lives and then she'll be like, I'm not for violence, but I'm not telling no one to do nothing. But if they do something, that's not, I didn't tell them to do it. So you're kind of giving people the green light to go and attack people and be your trolls and, do your bit.
She knows what she's doing.
She knows exactly what the hell she's doing. So one morning I get up around graduation season and she posting that her, it's one thing after another. Boston public schools and the white man is always trying to do something and blah, 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 blah. So supposedly her son lost the book. I'm from Milton. I had to call around in Boston. From what I find out is that everyone, if you lose a book, we all know you have to pay for it senior year in high school, right? To graduate high school, right?
Mhm.
And this is the manipulation part of it that I don't like. So to take something that we all experience, right? And to then go and flip it on your page and try to make it about Black Lives Matter, or it's the white man with his knee on your neck, on your child's neck, when this is all about teaching your son about responsibility. This didn't even need to make itself to fucking Facebook. You get what I'm saying? So
You're
for
like my
me,
favorite person ever.
for me to then tell her, I said, maybe this is just a lesson you need to teach him.
Yeah.
But what does this have to do? This is something that we all have had to do.
Can I ask you something, Shug? Are you at all worried by coming on here and saying the things that you're saying right now that Monica's going to target you?
I'm already a target.
Okay, I've never heard her target you, but yeah, yeah.
I'm already a target. She don't like me. I don't like it. No, that one. Let me tell you. So, because I disagreed with her respectfully, she liked me. We never agreed. You get what I'm saying? I never. But it was respectful, and I would tell her how I feel, and she would tell me how she's feel. But when I gave her my opinion on her wall, that kind of debunked and kind of went against her. She deleted me and then went back on her Facebook and started talking about me, talking about how miserable I am. I'm jealous of her. And I'm like, what? I never dreamed about living in Warren Gardens. And jealous who?
Yeah, I thought she was supposed to move out of Warren Gardens. She raised $10,000 to move out.
Donate to that GoFund. So when she get that GoFund ready, I'm ready for that GoFund to get her out of.
She had one. She raised $10,000 to move out of Warren Gardens, and then she never moved. Yeah, but she never talked. That's one of her greatest scams.
Listen. I got to do this again, y'all. I got to do this again for everybody, and I hope you're sharing this as well, Shug, on your things or what have you. A lot of people getting a whole bunch of different stuff back. So one, the general consensus is I talk too much. Okay, I concede that point. Second is a lot of people are talking a lot of stuff about Turtleboy and all this, and all I want to say again is I encourage. Are there more people in the chat? Or are there more people in the phone thing that want to?
Yeah, let me just
get it in.
Thank you for coming on, Shug. I'm going to bring on someone else. Thank you very much.
Peace. And I just want to say too what I'm talking about with these comments. Now, see right in the chat, somebody just called Monica a drag queen or whatever like that. See, this is the type of stuff like we can do without that. Can't you just say that she's a fake or she's a fraud or she's not a good representation of the Black community? When you put all that other stuff in it, it's actually,
that was her. That was her. That was Sarah.
Oh, that was her, Sarah?
Can I clarify?
Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
Which I said that.
Okay, good. And I saw you at the protest.
Yes.
Yes.
Hard to miss
Okay.
it.
So, anyways, going back in time, like old Turtleboy stories, I remember there was a woman from like a W town, and she was all pissed about like a caricature of slavery, and then it got. I don't think it was. I think it was Shell Shocker put in a good story, and he goes, you know what it is like feminists, like drag queens. It's like a poor representation of what a female is. You got like this loud, annoying, nasty, poor.
Cultural.
It's insulting. It's insulting to what feminism is.
It's blackface for women. Like drag face, I say it's blackface for women.
It's blackface for women is what drag queens are. And so, do you feel like Monica is doing the same thing for the Black community?
Sarah, I am so glad you called in and clarified your point. This is what I hate about Facebook and text, because by what you said, I just thought you were just trying to call her, a drag queen. You see what I mean?
Yeah, trashy.
Right. So, no. Now that representation, now we can talk about a caricature.
A lot of things, right?
A caricature.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. I'm just gonna. Is that you good? Anything else?
Oh, I have one more question.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Ask it and then cool.
Right.
And then we'll answer
What do you
both.
think about everybody hitting Leigha in the face with "Protect Black Women" signs during the protest?
Well, once again, I'm not with none of that. So yeah, none of that.
Do you think white people hitting her in the face with "Protect Black Women" signs is a proper representation of why everybody should have been there that day?
He's on our side.
He's on our side. I'm just asking his opinion, like to.
No, I'm not on no side. Listen,
I'm
not on no side. One of the reasons I'm not on no side.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay. I'm not on any side. Here's the side I'm on. That's why a lot of times y'all don't see me at stuff like that, because a lot of that stuff that people engage in, stepping on your toe accidentally, or kicking you in the shin a little, or knocking your camera out your hand. Homie, don't play that. So I'm not in for all those shenanigans, which is why I stay home. Because if somebody does something like that to me, and I could speak for most of the people that I know, that's why you don't see us at these things. And that's why I hated Occupy, because I'm trying to tell you, a lot of people get too comfy and touchy-feely out there. So no, I'm not for any of that. You can't even really put, like how they just were putting stuff in people's face. You can't even really put a sign in my face like that, let alone not touch me. If you put a sign this close to my face, we're gonna have a problem, right? I don't play those reindeer games. That's why I stay away from all that craziness that's there. Okay, but the first thing, the drag queen thing, I'm glad she clarified it, because what she really meant, in my opinion, the word that I would use is a caricature. So that when somebody becomes instead of the thing that they're trying to be, but like the worst stereotypical representation of it. So it's just like if a white person says, hey, y'all, I'm gonna do my impression of a black person. Hey, what's up, y'all? What be happening? Right? It's like that type of thing, right? Or like it's the fact that you guys think that you're rappers. You know, it's little things. Little things like that.
You're losing us, but I have an actual question for you.
So I got Western Mass Turtle Girl. She was actually at the protest the other day too. What's up, Western Mass?
So I'm just wondering, Jamarhl, do you have followers?
What am I? Swami Guru? What do you mean?
No, but you have a Facebook page you've been looking at all night with live feed, right?
Sure.
So you have followers then. You have people that are watching you live streaming this.
Oh, you mean in like social media sense?
More like friends, right? Like the people.
Yeah, I have Facebook friends. I mean, I did run a little bit of a media website thing, but I don't really pay that much attention to it. I mean, I have an audience, if that's what you mean. I'm more comfortable with the term.
Okay, that's fair. You have an audience, right?
Sure.
They're kind of like turtle riders.
Yeah. Well,
maybe they don't name or something. Like they're just kind of like
friends.
that. You know, not a cult, but a following of sorts.
Yeah, well, put it like this: nobody donates to me. I don't get any ads.
No. I'm not just asking if you have followers. You have people watching you right now that are in your Facebook live feed that all night have refused to come over to the YouTube feed because they think that if they do that, they're going to be endorsing Turtleboy Sports, right?
I wouldn't say all of them have. I mean, some of them have.
Why they're doing it though, and you know it. That's why you haven't turned it off and forced them to come over here and watch it on YouTube.
Okay. I didn't turn it off because certain people that I know who may be watching.
They refuse to come where they know they can see it anyway. Because if you turned it off right now, they would literally have to come to YouTube to watch it, right?
How many people are on your Facebook right now? Like 20?
Right. Because I've been watching our feed all night, and it's pretty much been staggering around the same amount. So
well, my live stream right now says it has 48, 49 viewers.
Ooh, that's not much of a following. Never mind.
Well, he's not really like.
You guys have a good night.
So now she's dissing me.
Thank you, Mr. Mass. Appreciate it.
Bye.
I'm not as popular as you thought, huh?
Yeah, just to be clear, Jamal's not like a media guy. He's just a guy.
No, I'm a media guy. I just do serious media.
That's
so
not
right now we're shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Right? This is not real media. So right now what I'm doing is I didn't send out a press release to do this. I didn't prepare questions. I didn't, you know what I mean? Right now, we're just two guys talking to me, trying to clarify some questions and some controversy for the public. The main reason why I did this is because I have been linked now with, I'm the light-skinned black guy, or sometimes she just says the black guy from the community, who is in league with the white supremacists who are led by you, Turtleboy.
Yep.
And we are in league with the Boston Police Department. And we all have a murder plot against Monica Cannon Grant. We want to see her dead. Yeah. So that's why I am addressing this to basically express to folks, I am not in league with white supremacists, and he ain't no white supremacist.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have this conversation too, because you're the guy that saves the video. Like, that video doesn't get out without you, right? You got that out there. And then I saw it because I think Leigha or Tracy Lavorne saw it, and they contacted me about it. And then I wrote about it. And so people out there are assuming that you and I are working together, when in fact, we just kind of have a common interest in this particular topic. And then we could talk about other things that stem from that.
Okay, let me do this, and let me do this quickly because I know, once again, people, I talk a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize to y'all. I'm wordy. Forgive me. But I try to, hopefully, at least I'm making sense in what I'm saying and giving you substance, okay? Another question has happened with the whole Rayla thing about the whole video and all this. So first of all, let me express to y'all. Every time Monica does a video, right, because of our past, where I've been threatened and so on and so forth, just for my own records and everything, now I try to get that video. And I have a bunch of people, not people who work for me or some, nefarious cabal, right? These are just people who know me, who have seen it, who are concerned, who are like, hey, yo, she's talking about you again. And they may send me a video, right? So then we, strive to download it because her tendency is to say something bombastic and crazy, which she thinks at the time is fly and good. And then probably gets calls after that says, hey, that was crazy. And then she takes down the video. So now people capture the video. So that when she went on that tirade against Rayla, first of all, I want people to be clear with a couple of things. Me and most folks in the Black community had no idea who Rayla Campbell was. I had never heard the name Rayla Campbell. And when she started going in and all this, because it was a twofold. It was against the 4 white DAs who had tried to castigate Rachel Rawlins, which was wrong and crazy. She talked about that and then the Rayla thing. When she said Rayla Campbell, here's how in the dark I am. I thought that Rayla Campbell was somehow related to Boston City Councilor, who just announced for mayor today, Andrea Campbell. Yeah. I was like, what is this, her cousin or something? Like, who is this? Okay. And when I just heard the video, I was like, oh. Now we have a saying where the same rabid dog that bit you bit me too. Okay. So what happened is when I saw this lady being under attack by Monica, I don't care about Trump supporter, this, that, whatever. I reached out to her to just say, hey, just like I did you, and like I would anybody, that sometimes you guys on the right conservative thing, you interact with somebody or a group or whatever from the Black community, and there's a tendency by maybe not you, but maybe your followers to think that this is how all Black people think. And all I was trying to do was say, hey, lady, I know you just got castigated by this Black quote unquote leader in Boston. Everybody don't feel like that. So yeah, we don't agree, with your principles or none of that. And you don't have a snowball's chance in hell to beat Ayanna. Good luck with that. Right. But all that other stuff we don't agree with. That was unnecessary. We call a flag on the play. Okay. That was all it was. And when I got in contact with Rayla was shocked and was like, oh, what? She didn't even know what was going on. And she was like, oh my God, is this why my email has been blowing up? Is this why all of a sudden I've gotten all these phone calls that I don't know about? The threats had already started to roll in with her and she didn't know about anything. And I said, what? So you didn't even see the video? She says, what video? And so I sent her the link to the video. Period.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the big white supremacy plot.
You gave it to Rayla. Rayla gave it to Tracy Lavorne. I didn't know who Rayla was before that either. Tracy Lavorne, running for a District 2 congressman out here in Central Mass, gives it to me. I find out who Rayla is. I put the blog out. I contact Rayla. We develop a friendship, and here we are now. That's the story. So
you developed a friendship with Rayla.
Right, correct. We're not friends.
I was going to say, would you say that we're friends? How would you classify us?
I don't know. What is it? What even is a friend? I don't even know. It's like, I think you're an interesting person. I enjoy conversating with you. I don't agree with a lot of things you say, but you don't take what I like about you is you don't take shit personally.
I would consider you at this point, you're like another person in my Rolodex. You're kind of in the media category, but you're also in the wise guy category. Do you ever see Dig Boston?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of your friend there.
Chris Ferrone.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Okay, I bet. And I bet he doesn't like you either. Yeah. So what I was going to say is, you know what I think of you? You're like evil Chris Ferrone. Okay. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Dickhead.
You know what I mean. You're the opposite end of that spectrum. You know, but
you know, like his big thing is I killed Andrew Breitbart. Like, who the fuck says that?
That's the part I thought you would appreciate. He's just as tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic as you. I thought
but he's just a dick about it. Like, he's just a dick.
He's the dick, but you're not a dick.
No, I'm funny. I'm humorous. I'm an entertainer.
I get it.
He's a dick to be a dick.
I would love to see you guys in a fucking like arm wrestling contest.
Well, he doesn't like
money.
I tried to interact with him on social media. He never responds. He's not fun. He's not fun.
He is fun. That's my buddy. Chris Ferrone's a great guy.
Can I bring on one more person here? I got in the stream. We're gonna bring them on real quick.
Please bring them all on.
Sunny Day, what you got?
Wow, you said my name correctly. All right, guys, what's up? So I just wanted to hop on, and for the last young lady that called, hey, guess what I am? One of Jamarhl's followers.
Ooh,
he's got plenty. All right.
So, are you a follower of mine?
I'm really a friend of his, but for the sake of her argument, I'll be a follower.
I was gonna say because I never seen your name in my PayPal, boo.
Oh no, you probably won't, but I'm kidding. So check this out. The only other woman of color that hopped on tonight, I want to just follow up with what she said. I think she was going by the name Shug Avery. So here's the thing, Shug. I, just like you, and you know this, have been victimized by Monica. I have been assaulted, insulted, my address posted online, a whole bunch of stuff that I could sit here and bore you with. But the difference between what I would like to say is us and Monica, or I'll at least say it myself and Monica, is I know where to draw the line. You see, Turtleboy, I don't know, you keep bringing up civil rights. So I'm going to assume that like where you've studied Black history begins and ends there. But if you take a trip back a couple hundred years.
Oh, it doesn't end. Yeah.
Well, buddy, hear me out, because I follow you. I like you. I think you're funny. I don't believe that you're truly like this crazy, super racist. I think you're just a dick, but it's all good, right? But check this out.
Yeah.
And I'm following the Monica story, and I'm with you on all that. But when you called her a ratchet ass hoe, something went through me, and honestly, I could have punched you in your face because
not in this moment. I'll give you that.
Yeah, well, hear me out, because the historical context, the dynamic rather between white men and Black women is just beyond anything that we should be, that I can even talk about tonight. I mean, between just the rape and the archetypes that have been built, and just there's a lot there. So I don't feel comfortable hearing you talk to any Black woman along the lines of hoe, bitch, anything like that, right? So Shug Avery, I want to touch on what you said. You see, Monica, who's out there right now saying, let's protect Black women, did not protect Leigha. Leigha, if you're listening, girl, I don't agree with your politics. I don't even know what your politics are, but you're not scared. You go out there and you're ready to, engage in whatever they got for you. And my thing is, Leigha wasn't protected. Leigha's still a Black woman. Do I know her? No. Am I a fan of what I see? Not really, but she's still a Black woman, and she still deserved protection. And Monica allowed those Antifa punks, alongside a whole bunch of other people just 150 feet away from where she spoke, to disrespect a Black woman, and to put what I saw for a second, I thought a Black woman was going to be in danger. And hey, Turtleboy, check this out. If you're going to keep rolling with her, like, I don't know, like, where's the male protection for Leigha? Like, don't let these people,
Nobody's touching Leigha. Nobody's touching.
All right, because she looked a little vulnerable out there. So
nobody's
my whole thing is, we are not going to take it to the level of disrespecting Monica. I don't disrespect Monica. I call Monica out on her shit. We don't have to disrespect her. She disrespects herself. So I just wanted to put that out there, that we're not playing the same game as she is. She doesn't mind sacrificing a Black woman to prove her point. Black women aren't that important to her, but for Jamarhl, for people like me, for people like those of us who are listening on his page, Black women are important to us. That's all I got, folks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And just to clarify, the muscle was Leigha Genduso. Leigha Genduso is the muscle, the chick with the dog. Nobody's fucking with Leigha with Leigha Genduso's in the house. So,
and not for nothing, how do you know her?
Here's a story. Okay, so Leigha used to be a state trooper, and I blogged about her. It was a pretty big blog, and Long story short, she's no longer a state trooper anymore. We had hard feelings. At least I'm sure she hated me for quite some time. And she reached out to me to bury the hatchet, if you will. And she came on this live show about 6 months ago, and we had it all out, and we've kind of become friends since then.
Okay, so she was another person who was a victim of the Turtleboy, scandal machine or whatever, right? She was a victim of attack.
I don't think victim's not the right word, but she was a subject of many blogs.
Right, which were not favorable to her.
No, that's correct.
All right. And she's a white woman.
She is a white woman. That's correct.
And that was a German Shepherd dog.
Yeah. I get. Is that where we're going? The breed?
Well, whatever. No, and she was a K9 state trooper, right?
She was.
So, and what happens when you leave the thing? You get to keep the dog. Is that how that works?
So that's her expertise. Is obviously. I mean, she does. So she trains dogs. Like, it's what she's good at. And so,
okay.
Yeah. So that's like what she does now, essentially.
Okay. All right. Well, good for her.
All right. Cool. Anybody else? Oh, it's a Belgian Mall, not a German Shepherd. Belgian Mall.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, yes, correct. A former canine. Okay. All right. If anybody has any more questions, by the way, I just want to thank 7 Pounder. He says, fuck racism. Great interview. Once it got going, my kayak fishing buddy of color, that's a new one, agrees with me. Hi, Jeff. See you Sunday at the lake. KB says, I just love what you do. Keep up the good fight. Will do, KB. Bobby Riley says, keep up the good fight. Take down these half-wits. Will do. Absolutely. All right. So if anybody has any more questions, I see Sonny and, Shug, and did Shug want to come on back real quick? I just want to go because it's like getting a little late. So Shug, what's up?
I didn't even realize I'm definitely usually asleep.
Did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Sunny Day, and I like boring people with the details because I believe you miss the devil's in the details when it comes to like stories and situations when it comes to like someone like Monica. I also wanted to say I think responding to Monica with hostility in the way she responds to people is really important. I felt personally attacked the way she attacked Leigha. I felt like I'm a conservative. You get what I'm saying? And so those things that she said, which was very like, I had nothing to do with nothing. And to me, a lot of her conversation is nothing to do with nothing. And, who someone's sleeping with and all the other stuff. And it was like, who do you think you are to tell someone that they have to sit down and shut up at this part? Like as if though you're trying to tell someone about their blackness. You get what I'm saying? All our blackness does not look the same way. And she tends to think that it has to look and sound the same way. And it's just like, and that's the disrespectful part of it. You get what I'm saying? So for me,
right. Monica came after Leigha because everything with Monica comes down to the hustle, making money, right? And her whole thing, and how does she make money? She makes herself a victim. So Leigha Campbell, who was, let's be honest, she was absolutely no threat. It's the most bluest district in the country. She's the least threatening person possible. But she chose to make her, like, how can I make this woman a threat? Well, I'm going to say, oh, she brought these super fun, happy America guys around. They're white nationalists. They're trying to kill me. Hit up my PayPal. That's all it comes down to her. It's always about money.
And it's always, and that was my whole thing. And that's why I never really agreed with her platform because it was always even about money, but also, being Black and in my community, I don't feel like you can get on police and the government at the same time, but there's no conversation about accountability within our community on how do we fix some of that. That to me, you lose me, right? Because then what are you actually asking for the police to do, right? Be on every corner and every street. What do you want for them to do? Like the personal choice of us fixing us, it's not even a part of her conversation. And to me,
never.
I can't fuck with that.
And she's so hypocritical too because she just bashes the police. The first thing she did is run to the police when we protested her. She ran to the cops. She's a fraud.
Listen. Okay. Controversial subject. Question from me. Now.
Thank you.
Peace, sis. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
If you can talk about it, if you're comfortable, you said no holds barred.
Yeah.
The whole thing about he got the report and he publicized the report, the harassment thing. Are you able to talk about how you got that report?
Sure. A cop sent it to me.
Okay, so it was sent to you. You didn't take a screenshot yourself. You weren't at the station.
No.
You took a screenshot.
No.
So another cop sent it to you.
Oh yeah, I mean I've cops that follow me in every department in the state.
Right. Great. So not even Coleman. gave it to you.
No, not Coleman. It was, and that's the ironic part is she was showing up there to protest the guy who I shit on.
Right. So not for nothing, and not for nothing for all my BPD folks out there, because some of them are watching. Not for nothing. That's the type of stuff people talk about. Why would you do this or whatnot? See, we can at least clear that part up, because everybody is like, where did the leak come from? Where did the leak come from? Okay. So now, obviously, without revealing the leak, unless you want to talk, well, yeah. I'll put you in contact with some higher up BPD people. Specifically, I don't even want to mention his name on there, but I'm gonna put you in contact with somebody specifically because we talked about it and they want to know that. So, okay, fine, great. But what we can confirm right here live on air is that it was not the officer who took the report is not the one who somehow gave it to you a couple of minutes later. You're over his shoulder taking a screenshot of it because you know you're embedded into the Boston Police Department.
I don't even know the cop's name.
There you go.
So I mean, they don't want to be, they want to be anonymous too. So
okay, oh, beautiful. So it was sent to you anonymously
by a guy who said he was a cop. I assume he's a cop, or else how else would he get that, right?
See, this is what I'm talking about. Demystifying the shit and taking all the conspiracy shit out of it. This is why this is important to me.
Regardless, it's public record. If all somebody has to do is tip me off, I file a FOIA, I get it in 2 days anyway.
But I'm saying, but then you would have got the version once they file it and type it up, and you know what I mean, all that type of thing like that. You know, so her thing is that you have some sort of super secret access or magical power where you were able to get it, you know, like after it was written.
I'm just a good reporter with good sources. Like when you develop a good reputation in town, you get good sources. The best reporters have the best sources, and I get the best sources.
Okay. All right. So, you know, I think, I don't know, unless anybody else has anything pressing, you know, let me just get
one more guy in the comments, Indy Boston, real quick. What do you got, Indy? Last caller.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. What's going on? How are you?
Okay, Turtle. I just want to know if you can tell us what is your real problem with Monica, with some details, and what's your problem with Dapina? Because I do remember you putting a story up about Dapina, and it wasn't even actually him.
Okay, so let's be clear. So that first blog about Dapina, that was a couple of years ago. I want to say I have blogs, right? And I don't review everything. And I believe there's another guy who has the same exact name. I mean, what are the fucking odds of that? Joa Dapina, right? And so there was a video out there of him harassing a Catholic priest, like dropping leaflets off, getting real, doing his whole thing out there. And I get alerted to it afterwards. People are like, this is not the same Joa Dapina. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm reading the inbox and I go over and I say, this is a fucking different Joa Dapina. I made an editorial decision to take the blog down at that point. So now fast forward 2 years later.
Did you ever apologize to the mother?
What mother?
The mother of the child that you spoke about in that article.
Well, I didn't write the blog, but I don't even remember what it was about, to be perfectly honest with you.
It was about a kid who got hit on a bike, and you blamed Joa for being the killer.
What was he killed by a guy named Joa?
No, the kid's name was Karis.
Okay. I mean, I'll apologize to the mother. I mean, I didn't write the blog, but I take ownership of it.
Okay. So what's your problem with Joa?
I have no problem with Joa. I find Joa entertaining. I do have a problem a little bit with just making a caricature and making a joke of like a really serious situation. Like that was a fucking murder. There was a dead body like right around the corner from there, and 2 other people were shot. And he shows up to do his whole thing with Cowboy Willie. He's an entertainer. I find him funny and amusing, but that was the wrong place, wrong time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, can you speak about what your problem was with Monica?
Oh, I don't even know where to start with that one. How much time you got?
As much time as you allow.
I think she's a very poor representation of the Black community. I think that she has appointed herself the de facto leader of the Black community, even though she's clearly not. And I think she's a grifter. I think she's a pathological liar. I think everything she does revolves around her becoming a victim so that people are inclined to pay her. I think she knows how to play wealthy white suburban women like a fucking like a violin, like that woman from Winchester who was basically.
I'm glad you didn't say fiddle because that would have been racist.
Okay, apologize. Yeah, so that white woman from Winchester, Zena Merchant, who's like on the board of whatever, she's the one that got this whole thing started. And before I found out about Monica, I found about Didi Delgado. That was like the first one I found about, and she has the grift better than anyone, the reparations gift. Like these women,
right? But then you got off of Didi and you're stuck on Monica,
right? Because Didi's just entertaining. Didi is not doesn't have Marty Walsh on speed dial. Didi doesn't have institutional power that Monica has. And that's my big issue is she has legitimate institutional power. She'll be the first one to tell you that.
Did you ever find out about a situation where Monica was housing people who were victims of violence and getting GoFundMe accounts and stuff like that? Did you ever find out about stories like that? Because I'm interested as to why you never did any articles on that.
Are you saying she did something positive and I didn't write about it? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I'm saying that there were some victims of violence whom she went to, to go as, I guess, what were they called, Jamarhl? What were those people called? Like first responders. She would be the first one on the scene and she would claim to help these people and claim to put them in hotels and claim to feed them and getting all these people in her group to donate this money, and the victims never seen a dollar. You never heard of them?
I'm very interested in learning more about that. Very interested. And I can only publish things that I have like evidence over, but I am very interested in that if there's verifiable evidence.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should send you one.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should do it anonymously, and that's the beauty of Turtleboy.
No, it won't be anonymous.
That's fine too.
I like being the center of attention too sometimes when it comes to Monica.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not for nothing too. One of the things that this has shown is that, there were multiple people. My life has been threatened, although I'm not really concerned about, that. But it's a pattern. This is not, what happened to Rayla, not for nothing, welcome to the club. You know what I mean? She's just
the teacher in Bridgewater. Like she's a victim of Monica too.
Well, they didn't even get it that bad. I mean, Marty Walsh, she did a 35-minute video. See, that was when I hadn't figured out how to, be downloading the videos from Facebook and all that type of stuff all the way. But she did a whole 30-minute tirade calling Marty Walsh a bitch ass Emma effing N-word.
Yep.
For like 35 minutes repeatedly. And when he talks about, and she's proud of it. And not for nothing.
Story. Like Marty Walsh asked me, can you stop calling me a motherfucker? Like she told us.
And that's what I hate about it. See, the revisionist history. Because she didn't just call him a motherfucker.
Yeah.
She called him a bitch ass motherfucking N-word.
Yeah.
That's what she called him.
Ooh.
So and repeatedly.
Yeah.
So I've never seen anybody like that, or the video that I have when she's talking about the police, or Willie Gross, or threatening the entire state or the city, or to like hold them hostage. Or I've never seen this in my life before. This is beyond the pale. So I think, look, people are doing Jamarhl Crawford. So what's next for you and Turtleboy? We're gonna go on a fishing trip and we're gonna make a sitcom together. What are you talking about?
Oh, man. You're gonna be a regular.
It doesn't matter. It's like all these past couple hours means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else has a goddamn question?
Yeah.
Please come with another question or something. If not, we can end this.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit late. So why don't we just call it a night there, guys? I really appreciate everybody coming on. Jamarhl, appreciate your time. I thought it was a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You don't support death threats, right?
I'm against them.
All right. You don't want people prank calling or death threatening or making threats against this woman or her children.
Absolutely condemn 100%.
Can you make a commitment that you will not call her a hoe anymore?
I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
All right. What about bitch?
I'll go cunt. I'll go cunt.
You'll go with cunt.
I'll go cunt.
Okay. Maybe we should put up a poll or something. How people
not to please you, for me. It's for me.
Yeah.
And my children.
Yeah, right. Don't please me. Shit. I don't care. So all right. So then, we've made progress. You're not any member of any racist organizations, and if you were, you just basically denounced them, because just like if somebody said, "Hey Jamarhl, were you ever a part of the new Black Panther Party?" and I was like, "No, I never was." That would, you know what I mean? You can't really do that. So, and not to equate the new Black Panther Party with any white supremacist organization, because we are a Black liberation organization and blah, blah, blah. In any event, okay, great. Everybody have a great night. Anybody that wants to contact me, feel free to find me. Whatever, you're all intelligent people. Thank you. I don't have any problem with interracial relationships or interracial children. God bless you all, and to all a good night.
Peace, Turtle Riders.